Hi and welcome to the very first edition of One Click In, a place where we plan to give an honest opinion on used bikes and hopefully in the future some new bikes as well. This will include sports bikes, sports tourers, adventure bikes, naked bikes and possibly even a few dirt bikes. There'll be a bit of track talk and anything else we feel could be interesting. My name's Greg and today I'll be giving you my opinion on the Triumph Sprint ST 1050. This is a 2006 no frills model, so no panniers, no heated grips or ABS. Having owned this bike for around 5 years, I can give a true opinion on what I like, what's okay, and what really gets on my goat. Firstly, I must say that it's a fantastic sports tourer. I've done some distance on this bike and can't complain about the comfort of the seat or riding position. The seat may not be as comfortable as a cruiser or maybe even a Harley, but it's good enough to travel hundreds of Ks without your butt going too numb. What I really like about the ST is if you can have a good play in the hills with your sports bike mates while still being comfortable on the ride home. Sure, the suspension's on the plush side and has minimal adjustments, but it's adequate for what you want to achieve on a bike of this size and nature. The riding position is reasonably upright compared to sports bikes and doesn't have you shaking your wrists as you slow down for towns. The screen's okay, but if I was going to do longer rides, I'd be throwing on something a little higher for more protection. Having owned many sports bikes, I don't feel the pegs are too high or I'm leaning too far forwards. If this was a problem for anyone, I think they've changed this on the slightly softer GT model. The 1050cc engine is a beautiful thing. Being a triple with this capacity, you can only imagine the mid-range available. The red line is reached very quickly, but realistically, you don't need to rev it that much and still be enjoying yourself. Power delivery is linear and the fueling is very well done for a bike of this age. With 123 horsepower and 104 Newton meters of torque, you really can't complain. At about $4,000 in top, you're doing the legal limit, and when it comes to overtaking, there's really no need to drop it down a gear, unless just for the thrill of it. The gearbox works adequately, but does have a slightly notchy feeling to it. No huge issues though. The mirrors are good compared to some, and I'm yet to experience them coming loose and flopping around like I've seen on other STs. I've never folded mine in, so maybe this has kept them in good nick over its time. At around 210 kilos dry, this makes for a somewhat heavy sports bike, but a lightweight tourer, so I think the name sports tourer is bang on for this machine. I'm not running panniers as I feel they're a bit heavy for my style of riding, but I do throw on a rack at times, and I also have a rear seat bag which carries plenty for a one-up situation. I've had a couple of issues with this bike, and one of the common issues is the regulator rectifier. Thankfully mine was already changed out when I bought it from the previous owner, and I think he replaced it with a Yamaha unit. Charging's been tested now and it's working well. I do also find it hard to start some mornings. It'll turn over very slowly, then I'll leave it for a minute and try again. It's running a lithium battery, so maybe this has something to do with it, or perhaps it's a starter. I'll investigate further when I get around to it. Recently the bike chewed up and spat out the chain guide as well, so I was running it up on the center stand and it basically fell to pieces. I looked at the pieces and they were very brittle, so it's probably just age related. I bought a new chain guide, or chain slider as some would call them, and it's been fine since. And on a side note, you do not need to remove the swing arm to do this. My biggest gripe with this bike is the way the seat's held on. At the back here you have two Allen head bolts that you have to remove just to take the seat off, instead of just using a key like a lot of other bikes do. Clearly they thought it was a bad idea as well, because on the GT model they've upgraded to using the key. The brakes on the ST provide good stopping power. Having said that, when I bought this bike I changed to double H pads and a good quality brake fluid. Now when you're really pushing it, you can get that squirmy feeling on the rear end. The bike still looks great for a 13-year-old bike. Single side swing arm, beautiful. The Triumph has an easy to read dash with quite a few features for a bike of 2006, which includes clock, instantaneous fuel consumption, average fuel consumption, range, which I wouldn't completely trust but use as a guide, journey distance, journey time, average speed and maximum speed, which I've just reset. The Triumph has this handy little glove box here, or toolbox, where you'll find the original toolkit, plus some fuses and the OBD2 connector. This is not too bad, but it is all a bit plasticky and rattly as you go along. This could possibly do with a bit of door seal foam or something like that to stop things rattling around a bit. A couple of things I find handy when doing a bit of touring is to have a holder for your phone. So you've got that where you can see it, use it for navigation. Plus the Triumph has a 12-volt output, and I've just connected up a dual USB out here so you can charge your phone and whatnot as you ride along. So when you reach your destination, everything's 100%. Beautiful. So you may ask how I know so much about my Triumph. Well, by researching the back of my mug. There's generally a good amount of these available online, so have a look, do your research, check out the common problems that are known to this model, and enjoy. Hope you've enjoyed the very first one-click in video. Feel free to like and subscribe. Please be nice in the comments. People have feelings, man.